Welcome to Trading Capital Exclusive Analysis. In today's video, we're assessing copper and some other base commodities. So starting with the copper daily chart, overall it's looking like a pretty bullish pattern. You've had a nice little rally up, beautiful inside bar consolidation forming this very tight bull flag pattern. I do like to see when you have this up move, then down move, then up move, then down move, then up move. This type of pattern is showing that it is shaking out some of the weak hands, and it's very likely that it's probably going to push a bit higher in the near term. So that being said, full disclosure, I am long copper stocks with my members. I've been discussing getting long copper stocks, and actually we entered yesterday a beautiful little call option trade on SCCO. We actually took 2 trades, and we already pulled some profits off of the gap up, almost having our 105 calls getting in the money. But I think that if copper starts to firm up here and break out of this bull flag, the next stop is probably going to be this 441, this 382 pivot retrace zone. And if I actually tighten up this retracement zone just so that we're at the exact high pivot, the number that I'm looking at is around 440 for copper to retest. Why? Well, this was a big accumulation zone where copper looked like it was trying to break out and then absolutely failed. So typically it likes to retest that liquidity zone where it often has a lot of buyers trapped in there. So I think that copper is probably going to make a nice little push here. And one of the reasons I also say that is you look at some of the other commodities. Today you had uranium make a stellar breakout. Look at that move to the upside. You're looking at oil as well. Oil is making a stellar move to the upside. So you are seeing commodities across the board starting to firm up again. And the issue with that is commodities are again sniffing out potentially weak, dovish central bank Federal Reserve monetary policy. So again, you're seeing the dollar also coming under immense pressure here, now trading at 100, and commodities absolutely love that. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity in some of these names. You look at SCCO, that's probably trying to break out of this falling wedge pattern. You look at Freeport-McMoRan also putting in this beautiful little inverse head and shoulders. Take a look at this pattern. This is one that I have not traded or taken any trades, but I'm eyeing it up and watching it very, very closely because I do think there's going to be a momentum play here. So again, keep copper stocks on watch, but as we start to see commodities rise, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not commodities put a little bit more upward pressure on the inflationary narrative. And if that happens, if commodities start to catch another bid higher, another leg higher, what do interest rates do? What does the dollar do? What does Federal Reserve policy do? Because we all know commodities are very, very highly correlated to what likely inflation is going to do. Overall, we've been in a pretty solid disinflationary trend, and it's likely still going to continue, but you got to keep your eye on these commodities. And they say copper, Dr. Copper typically knows a lot. It is the most used base metal in the world. So between copper surging, uranium surging, oil making a bullish weekly reversal here, things are looking, you know what? Like we could be going through a bit of a resurgence in some of these commodities. So keep your eye on that. But look at this beautiful little chart pattern on oil as well. Pivot high to pivot high to pivot high. It looked like a head and shoulders was breaking down here. Broke down, saved it. Broke down again, saving it. So for the time being, I think that we have a little bit more upside in some of these commodities. Where do I think oil could likely retest to? Well, considering you've now had 2 attempts by the bears here to break down this trend line here. 1 attempt which failed, 2nd attempt which is now looking like it's failed. Oil could push back up to 82.22. Thank you all for tuning in. Please give this video a like down below, and if you agree or disagree, I would be curious to hear your insights and comments. Enjoy your weekend.